we can do what's called multiple views for our worksheets or workbooks. For example, if I want to go ahead and compare this worksheet totals to California, I have to zip back and forth. Instead, I can go ahead and create a new window or a copy of this workbook temporarily, have it open up, and then compare them side by side. So in the original view, I can have California selected, and then in the new window or a copy of this without actually being a copy, I can go ahead and select another tab, the totals, and compare side by side. To do that, come up here, click on the View tab, go to the Window group. There's the new window feature, and it says down at the bottom it'll open up a new window containing a view of the current document. Go ahead and click it once, it opens it up. How do I know? Well, look down here. For every window you have open up at the top, you have a corresponding button that when you click on it, well, there's the original number 1. Down here, click on that. Up at the top, it's got number 2. Let's go ahead and open up a few more. Let's click New Window again. There's number 3. New Window again, I have 4. So that way, if I want to go ahead and compare all the different worksheets within the same screen, well, how do I go ahead and bring them all up? Because right now, if I want to compare California in the original workbook here to the second workbook, it doesn't make sense to have new windows unless you come back up here to the Windows group and do Arrange All. That way I can go ahead and take all the open workbooks or the other 3 copies of the original, and be able to arrange them so they fit my screen. I can have tiled, which will section them, well, I've got 4, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, or I can have them horizontal, which means the 4 open workbooks will be arranged one on top of another, stacked horizontally or vertically or cascade. Let's go ahead and stick with tiled, click OK, there we go. I have my original workbook here, that's number 1, then it made a copy of it, number 2, and then there's number 3 and number 4. So the purpose of these copies, well, for this example is to go ahead and let's say in the first workbook I want to compare Utah to California. Let me go to the 4th workbook, to New York, and then down here to Arizona. So that way I have them all right here within close proximity of each other, so I can say, okay, California had $500 for our lemon essential oil sale in the 4th quarter. It was $300 down for Utah and then New York, and in any case I can zip back and forth between these without having to have just one workbook open and going back and forth between these 2 tabs. Or if you have just one tab, let's say they're all California here, click on California, and I've got large amounts of data, I can go ahead and click in one and scroll down, view that section of it, go over here and scroll down even further down to row, let's say 100, and you get the idea. Let me go ahead and click Arrange All, and let's do horizontal. So it stacks them one on top of another. I mean, if that works for you. Let me go back to tiled, then go ahead and scroll back up. Click in here, scroll back up. Now, even though it created copies of my original workbook here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, Excel's not going to save any of them, but only keep the original after I close them all. So, for example, if I come up in 1, and let's say that the sales for the lemon essential oil in the 1st quarter wasn't 200, it was 250. Notice that when I type it in here, it updates all the other workbooks because they're a copy, or it's the same workbook just opened up in 3 additional windows. Hit enter, updates all of them. So when I go ahead and I close out of these, and I'm like, okay, number 4 I close out. Notice it didn't prompt me to save, because again, it doesn't save these other copies of the original workbook. Close out doesn't save, so I'm now back down to 2 and then 1. When I close out of the second one, it gets rid of 1 because now I'm not counting 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the original workbook. So if I go ahead and close out of that one, then it's going to ask me, do I want to save it? Because that's the original. It's not a copy of it or a new window, in which case I can go ahead and say yes or don't save. And then when I open the workbook back up, click on File, go down to Recent. The recent one was Essential Oils. Click on that, pulls it back open. It still has it kind of in a tile-like mode, but I can go ahead and click on the Maximize button to fill the whole screen, and I'm back to where I started. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.